Hello and welcome to RMBC 2. I am Stefan. I am so happy you are here, and I really believe you're going to be very happy with your decision as well. I am tempted to just give you endless superlatives about how powerful and good and breakthrough-ish this course is, but rather than tell you, I'll just let you see it and experience it for yourself, and you tell me if you agree. Okay, what I want to do in this quick video is just share a broad overview of what is inside as we get started, and then you can dive in. Okay, I'm recording this a couple of days before the launch, so I'm not going to be showing you inside the members area yet. I'll probably maybe do a new video, walking you through the members area once we have that all set up. But this is still, I think, good enough to show you what to expect, okay, and how it's organized. And you may have seen the outline I shared previously, but it changed a little bit as I was creating the course, and I think for the better. So the first thing you're going to see after this video is like the kind of intro foundations section, which is going to go over kind of what is copywriting, what is direct response copywriting, what sales funnels look like in 2025, why context is king, and then sort of a broad overview of the RMBC 2 approach. Okay, this is a really important module. It's going to set up everything else. And I will be honest with you, there's a lot in RMBC 2, but I really would recommend trying to go through as much of it as you can. I really believe if you do that, you are going to have a better understanding of direct response marketing, direct to consumer marketing, e-com, and just selling online than pretty much almost anyone who doesn't go through it. In Foundations Part 1, one of the big parts we're going to talk about, and this will be a recurring theme throughout RMBC 2, is the importance of context. And when we talk about that, we'll be talking about it in a few different frames. One frame is platform specific. So what do I mean? I mean that the sales funnel journey, the journey from somebody who maybe doesn't have any idea the brand or the product that you're selling or the service that you're selling exists, goes from unawareness about you to buying, right? And that looks kind of different on Meta and native, and it also is different depending on what you're selling and the pricing and all these other things. I'll talk about this in the foundational model or module, but it's also really heavily about product and market awareness. And again, I don't want to repeat myself because I'll talk about it in the next module, but basically the thing to understand is like the way you sell to somebody who knows your product or service exists, or who's really actively looking for a product or service very similar to what you are offering or you're writing copy for, is different than somebody who is vaguely aware that they have a problem and kind of wants to solve it but isn't looking, right? And so there's a lot of importance of context, and I actually think it's one of the key things when it comes to writing great copy and effectively converting people from prospects to customers online. So we'll go through all of this in the foundations. I won't over explain here. We then get into deep research. And essentially there are 4 steps in the core research process, and then I included a section on ingredient research too for people who write supplements. But we're going to look at product market awareness, what I just mentioned. And I'm going to give you for all of these, they're kind of bulleted out. I got more in depth with what's included as I went later in this outline, so maybe I'll add to it. But basically, what it is, why it matters, and also a deep research process for doing product market awareness for any product, service, what have you. All right, so sorry, I decided I wanted to add more stuff, so I paused it and restarted, okay? So kind of what I just said about product market awareness, that's here, okay? Competitor research, you're going to give like a deep research process for creating another document that does competitor analysis, right? So you'll get not just understanding who the competitors are, but what kind of claims do they make? What do your prospects in their specific level of product market awareness, right? Like, what did they like about the competitor products? What do they dislike? Okay. This is really helpful because, you are, even if your prospect customer isn't like aware of your product or service, like they're aware of other competitors who do similar stuff, like at a broad level, maybe other weight loss companies, other make money online people, whatever it is, right? So we want to understand that. Psychographic research is really what the original R was in the original RMBC. There's a deep research prompt for that. But again, what's important in going back to product market awareness is you're going to see how to do that and understand the psychographic research and the kind of the deep psychological drivers for your target customer based on their level of product and market awareness. And so again, this will be one of the first things we go through right after the intro module. But it's actually going to really flavor a lot of what we do, especially for all copy, but especially on the kind of VSL side. Really everything though. Okay, then you're going to have, at the end of this, 3 different research documents. One on product market awareness, one on competitor awareness. I hate how Loom does the thumbs up thing when you do it. I don't know how to turn off that setting, but it's the stupidest thing. But okay, one on product market awareness, one on competitor research, one on psychographic research. They're going to combine them into one unified research document. There's a really easy prompt. You just basically feed them to Claude, say combine them into one, And why is that important? That's important because when we go to generate copy and really go through RMBC, we want to have this one sort of like ultimate research document that's got everything about the product market awareness, what they like, what they don't like, their psychological drivers, their hopes and dreams, everything, right? We have this perfect brief's not the right word because I have a brief later, this perfect document that is all the kind of research information we would need to write great copy. Okay, and then I also include a deep research prompt. I usually use Perplexity, as you'll see, for doing ingredient research. So if you need to get studies, claims, citations, all that, you can do for any supplement formulation. It takes like less than 5 minutes. It's solved. It used to take hours to do that for people. It's like 5 minutes now. It's so nice. Okay, so RMBC, that's research. Then we're going to be going into mechanisms. Most of you probably know what a mechanism is. I'm the person who popularized it, really. It gets talked about a ton these days. It's kind of cool. To be the person who popularized it. So we'll go through an overview of what unique mechanisms are for those of you who don't know. And then we're going to do a bunch of really cool AI processes for coming up with unique mechanisms. So we'll do ideation with large language models. You'll see how to use, again, deep research to come up with actually very good unique mechanism ideas. We'll see examples for Airbnb arbitrage. We'll see an example for supplements. I think I do one for, what's it called? I do a bunch. Let me tell you. Hold a second. I've got my folder here. An eye serum, so skincare, Airbnb arbitrage, and then I think I share a couple other examples too in there. After that, I think the 2 I focused on the most were eye serum and Airbnb arbitrage, like a high ticket coaching offer. It's like a hypothetical one. There's a process for evaluating them because what happens is you'll get, using these processes, several really good potentially unique mechanisms. So like, how do I pick which one's the best? Well, I give you a process to use LLMs. I should probably say, to evaluate them. It's really cool. It's not, if you have a ton of experience, you don't need to depend on LLMs. I talk about this throughout. But like basically this is a way to, if you're between a couple of mechanisms or you're newer and you're not sure which mechanism to go with, this is a pretty consistent, reliable process that will show you what to do. Then you'll see how to expand any unique mechanism ideas you have into kind of copy format and the importance of that. And then they'll show you a Claude project setup that helps to write out those unique mechanisms. But really, like, the big thing here is that you'll be able to understand unique mechanisms well, and you'll be able to generate unique mechanism ideas and then select the one that you're happiest with. Okay, so RMBC. So why is B here and C here? What I decided is before we got to the brief and then generating copy, it made sense to put a pretty long core training on sales copy and especially sort of video sales letters. But when I say video sales letters in the original RMBC, that was really, 15 or 20 to 50 minute, hour long VSLs. Okay, and that's still a thing. But these days, when we talk about VSLs, a lot of them are going to be 6 to 18 minutes long as well. And they're going to be in feed, so they're going to run as meta ads. Others are going to be 3 to 7 minutes long. And then a lot of them are going to be really short, like 2 minutes, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and they're kind of like video ads. So VSL and video ads sort of start to get, for meta especially, start to get kind of interchangeable, and you'll see that. There's also a training on hooks, something I call ADHD hook video ads, which are like VSLs, but they're 3 to 7 minutes long. They're really effective format. Nobody talks about this publicly, to my knowledge, but it's really cool. You'll see some really cool breakdowns from like VShred and Svelte, people like that. And there's a little module on the difference between in-feed and on-page VSLs that's actually very important. So basically, the reason I'm going through VSLs here is because then we're going to get to brief, where we're creating briefs that you can use to write these different VSLs. And the brief is only valuable, and the projects for sent VSLs is only valuable if you really understand how VSLs work. So that's why we're doing this in-depth training on VSLs and the different structure and all of that. Then we get to the brief 2.0. Why I call it brief 2.0? It's a dramatically expanded version of the brief for anyone who went through RMBC 1, right? So the brief is sort of like a page, like here's what you need to go write your copy. In RMBC 1, you'd have, the target market, what's the product, what's the mechanism, things like that. Then you would take that, you would reference it, you would follow an outline while you're writing a video sales letter. We're using AI primarily in RMBC 2. Pretty much all the writing in RMBC 2, the heavy writing, is done by AI. And then we are more of the commander. We are coming in and we are like, we're the boss, we're the copy chief. So we get copy from Claude mostly, but it can use other LLMs too. You'll see examples, LLMs too. And we're saying, hey, this is pretty good, but what about this, what about this? You also see how a lot of the processes, using Claude projects, for example, having the referential material, telling Claude, hey, give me the game plan. What does the outline look like? What are the different elements? Make it in depth. Okay, and by this is true for PDPs, advertorials, everything. All right, looks pretty good, but what about this? What about this? This doesn't make sense. We need an idea here. What about this, right? We're thinking about copy more than we're writing copy. You're more like a copy thinker than a copywriter, and that was a really nice little insight I just had. Bam, you're welcome. Thanks for the $9.97 or $8.97 or whatever the hell I charged. It was $8.97 for the pre-sale for a few people, but thanks for the $9.97, because that's like the biggest shift. It sounds stupid, but it's true. You're a copy thinker, not a copywriter, okay? And if you don't like it, this is still a valuable course, but that is reality for where we're at in 2025. So you have to understand what you're doing, what copy looks like, all of that, and then you've got the brief, right? So the brief is like those elements, but now because we're using LLMs, we're basically taking the mechanism, we're taking the research, and we're taking any other product details like the ingredients, whatever it is, and we're writing a 25-point document that we're going to give to LLMs that it can then use to write VSLs, ads, advertorials, email sequences, everything else that we're doing. And you're going to see how to, I'll go through the brief process with you. You'll see how to use Claude, a Claude project to set it up. You'll set this Claude project that will generate the brief. And then you will be able to go beep, boop, bop, and it does it. I mean, I kind of want to show you a really quick example as like a spoiler here, and I'm going to do it. So give me a moment. Wait for it. Okay. So there's a bunch of these, but let me show you an example. Okay, so we're in this brief generator project. In this case, I'm like, hey, I want you to do a new brief for our brand, Opal Beauty CVD Eye Serum. Here's a product page where you can pull in inputs. Gave it this one. Gave it this unified research document. Gave it ingredient research. Gave it the UMP and UMS. Okay? So basically, go ahead and write a brief. In this case, I gave it a website, which we'll talk about that. You can, for anything where you have existing pages, life becomes very easy. Here's the brief. And you'll see how it just sort of goes through everything, right? Demographics, psychographics, what are their pain points? Now, again, I'm going to go through this in a whole module. Big promises. What does it look like when their pain points have been solved? Emotional empowerment. What solutions exist? What do they not like? What's the unique mechanism? What are nicknames for it? What are the main ingredients and what are the studies which we had from Perplexity? What are bold claims that we can make, right? What are emotional transformational claims? What's the product? What are the key benefits and fascinations? What makes it unique? Background story. In this case, we started with a placeholder thing here. Who's the main speaker? Who's the secondary expert? What are the details of the brand? What are testimonials? What are credibility builders? What are medical endorsements? What is industry recognition? What's the normal retail price? What's the actual price? What are the multiple option savings? What's the guarantee? What are the bonuses if there are any? What are the scarcity elements? What is future pacing? What do results look like? What are objections and answers? What are specific hooks you could test? Okay? That's pretty cool, right? And what's neat is, and kind of crazy, because in that case, they're like, well, you gave it a website. It's like, that's true. So let me show you this one. I literally just said, here's ingredient research. Basically, generate a new brief, use placeholders for now. And it created this brief. This first brief was kind of more like a ClickBank style, like, oh, Sarah's this mother of two. She has this horrible blood sugar, she has high blood sugar. She meets an expert. Sort of what you would see for like a ClickBank type of offer. Then I was like, hey, it's great. Let's do a second version where it comes from a doctor. Okay, he shares story about a patient who's at their wit's end. He helps them discover the real reason for the blood sugar issues. And it's like, okay, in this one, doctors here, right? So it created essentially, but it even created a unique mechanism that wasn't bad. Now, again, in the process, you'll see like you'll have a unique mechanism, you'll have all of that. But the point is you've got this really awesome brief that you can just immediately work with, right? So hopefully see how that's valuable. Then we get to copy part 2. And so I know this is already kind of a long intro video, but it's important, I think, for you to see how this is all going to go before we get into the overview, like part 1, kind of overview of the state of direct response marketing. So again, you've done your research. You got a unified research document. You've done the mechanism. You understand copy really well if you didn't already. Then you have the brief. Now you've got this brief, this amazing document that you can use to write, and now it's time to create copy. And so here, we're going to use Cloud Projects. And we have Cloud Projects for long VSLs, medium length VSLs that are 6 to 18 minutes, let's say, 3 to 7 minute VSLs, short VSLs. And you'll see how we just basically give it, the Cloud Projects, the briefs. We say, here's a brief. Write a VSL, basically, and that's what it does. It's pretty wild, right? Again, without making this module too long, let's see here. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to find a quick example. And there's a bunch, but I'm just pulling from Cloud Projects. I mean, some of them are done in, how do you say it? Like, let me show you. I'll just show you really quickly. Like, here's a comprehensive brief. Should give you everything. Please write it. Give a little bit of detail. In this case, I'm telling it like a story because we didn't have one. If you saw a skincare one, I'm like, hey, here's the story we could do. Go ahead and write it, okay? And it will give me an outline. Gives me outline. Give it a little feedback. Give it the classic sales letter outline. Gives me outline. Again, revise. Cool. Let's go ahead and write it. And this is for a medium length VSL, but it goes and writes it. And I promise you, as we get into these projects and you see them, like the copy is quite good, and you'll see it. But you'll also see, very importantly, and I should almost put this in here, like one really important element is, sorry, I wish this was another bullet, but basically copy chiefing, feedback, tweaking, all of that, right? Because you're copy chiefing too, okay? After that, we'll get to mid-course recap. And I'll sort of be recapping at that point all the things I've talked about in this video, but you'll have more understanding. So I'll be like, again, hey, because there's a lot. You're going to go into the weeds. I have this in my little intro module, like my opening module thing. But basically, you kind of go through hell to come back out the other side to like heaven, right? And so it might feel like a little bit like, man, like there's a lot going on here. But when we zoom out, it's a pretty simplified process. So go back to that. This is my one. You start here, the bowels of marketing hell, you make it to the other side, which is sort of like heaven, right? But basically like RMBC, it's just different. You're using LLMs. It's actually way more efficient. It's way faster. And you can create any type of copy. Like with this sort of setup process you're going to go through and understand the theory of and understand the why and the how, you can just create any type of copy, right? And so from there, we'll go into advertorials. And for everything we do with these things like advertorials, you're going to look at like tons of case studies. What's the purpose? Why long ones versus short ones? What are common elements? Where did we start before the advertorial? We started at the ad, we went to the advertorial. The advertorial took us here. Where's here? It's a product page or a landing page, number 9. Or maybe it's a checkout page, right? Maybe it goes right to a checkout page. Maybe it goes to a VSL. Like why does that happen? What's the psychology? What's the thought process? Why does one advertorial go to this short, like right to a checkout page? Another one goes to a VSL. Another one goes to a short product page. They're talking about the product. One goes to like a e-com product page that's really long, kind of like a text sales letter. Like what's the difference, right? And if you don't know what any of these things mean, don't worry, because that's what all these modules are going to do. They're going to explain it all to you. All right. So we'll look at a bunch of examples. We'll do walkthroughs, and then sure enough, you'll have a Claude project for setting up and generating endless advertorials of any length for whatever platform, doesn't matter. Similar thing with product pages, right? We're going to understand, why are some product pages short? Why are some long? Like I've been loving, I don't know if I can find this. Let's see here. Should be it here. Is it? Like one of the examples we do in the course is this at-home cleaning spray. These guys have a great e-com product page, right? Super sexy, really nice, love it. Another brand we look at in the thing is this Clarify-On Odorex, which this is an advertorial, which you'll see many times as we go later, right? But their product page, wait for it. We're waiting, and we're here. Their product page is basically like a checkout / product page, and this is it. Okay, so why do these guys have a product page like this that's really just a little above the fold thing, product selection, pay, FAQs, and meanwhile, these guys have this much longer, really sexy, highly formatted page? Why is that? Well, you'll find out as we go through. We'll do tons of examples for everything like supplements, devices, some like high ticket, like book a call funnels, all these things. And then you'll see how to use AI to create outlines from, winning PDP structures and then instantly generate new ones. So similar concept here, and really good. Like you'll love it. It's great. You can just write endless product pages and you'll see that, with our friends at Claude. I use Claude a lot. All right, part 10, checkouts. So this isn't a super long module, but it's kind of important. It's good, right? So here, the checkout's pretty, it's a weird checkout, but let's go to Emma Relief, which does a digestive supplement, right? Okay, let's go one-time purchase, one pack, claim your supply. Okay, this is Emma's checkout. We will also be looking at mobile for those of you wondering, we'll typically do this. So here's the product, checkout, right? Go to Dr. Clean. And there's all of this stuff before I get to my proc selection thing, which is mentioned again here, even though I think it wasn't on the landing page. And then you enter your information, and then there's a bunch more stuff. So why do they have all this up here on their checkout? Well, Emma goes right to the contact, the information. And guess what? Turns out there's really good reasons for why the checkouts are different. We'll answer those, and you'll understand it. And again, within the context of the whole customer journey. We'll then get into ads, okay? So the way we're going back, well, not backwards, but this is just the way it makes sense in my weird brain, okay? So it's like, okay, like ads, like how do we get them to start the journey, okay? So we're gonna go from like, an ad to maybe an advertorial, or maybe a landing page, product page, or maybe to a video sales letter, to a checkout, to buy. Well, when are we doing what? And we'll find out a lot of that as we go through ads. So I'm doing the meta ads. I have a bunch of examples and a ton of different niches. And we'll also look at where the ads go. There's a lot of video ads. We'll also look at static ads. What's the purpose? And essentially the length of an ad, right? If it's like a short little ad, why is it often going to an advertorial or VSL? If it's longer, it doesn't. You'll understand all of that. Native ads with Din. He is an incredible media buyer on native. He was part of a really big agency and now is kind of off doing his own thing and does native buying for some of my businesses. For Google, we'll have David O'Connell from the O'Connell agency, and he's covering, everything like PMax, demand gen, AdWords, all that good stuff. Maxwell Finn will be doing TikTok. They are incredibly knowledgeable on the TikTok side. So everything and all things TikTok, ads, and psychology and copy and everything there. And then YouTube, be Tom Clayson at Tried and True. Tried and True has been one of the best YouTube agencies for forever. They actually run a lot of stuff for Emma, who I just mentioned. And they'll be talking same thing, like sort of different YouTube ads, placement, copy elements, and all that good stuff. And there are AI processes for generating winning ads fast, especially on Meta, but you'll see how Claude projects can be used to do this for really any type of ad that you're looking. And by this point, you should understand and be like a master of Claude projects. So you can set them up for anything, really, right? That's a huge part of it too. It's like part of what we'll look at copy. You'll have a better understanding of everything. You will know how to generate great copy. And you'll feel empowered to experiment and do things on your own that work for your specific purposes and needs. All right, at this point here, we'll get into the 15 factors that determine your funnel structure. This is a really cool training. I did this for CA Pro, and I haven't done it since then, so I'm taking the one from Pro, but it's really cool. Essentially, it's a criterion that you can use, like a checklist where you go through, you sort of evaluate, the offer, the product, the psychology, the consumer, their product market awareness, and all of that, and the pricing, all these other factors. And based on that, it tells you, okay, here's what your funnel structure will probably look like, as a best bet. So you don't have to do, it's not like the written in stone, no exceptions ever, but it's a really nice way to understand if you're trying to figure out how to sell something, where to start, what should your funnel structure look like, okay? It's really cool. I don't think anyone's ever done anything like this before besides me. It's really awesome, but it makes sense to put it here because you need to understand everything else first, right? The whole journey, the context, the product market awareness, the copy you're generating, why you're generating what copy where, and all that. From there, we move into upsells quite logically, okay? So they've completed the journey from A to B. Now they're going from B to C. How do we get a repeat buyer? And that's where really you can sort of go from B to C, and D, and E, and F, and right? So I'll make this its own big little thing here. So upsells are first and foremost. So we'll talk about upsells, but none of it's in a vacuum. So again, how do upsells impact funnel economics? What's the purpose, right? What's the psychology? What are the common elements? Like why didn't somebody, or how do we, how do we message them? And I'm stumbling because it's actually a really cool training and I want to kind of show you, I want to kind of spoiler it for you a little bit here. So give me a second. Let me just show you why I'm stumbling over my words. Okay. Here. What are we selling, right? Better results, faster results, an improved version, new problems, expanded problems. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. I'm just going to tease it because I might share this video in the for people who haven't bought yet. But like, we'll talk about all the sort of psychology, the funnel economics, the purposes, like what we need to address, and what we're doing with the strategy, right? A lot of strategy is what I'm really trying to say here. So I should put. Then we'll just do tons of walkthroughs. Everything from cleaning products like that Dr. Clean spray you saw, David protein bars, to supplements like Emma and Happy Mammoth, and then like BizOps stuff like info products, right? What are the upsell flows? What are the journeys? And a cloud project set up for doing endless upsells or cross-sells. So whether you're selling more of the same or you're cross-selling and selling a different product, you'll have the cloud project set up to be able to generate tons of those. Then we get into email marketing journeys. So abandoned carts. And again, what like the really thinking about the psychology, how it impacts funnel economics, how it impacts your ability to scale or the people you're working for or with ability to scale, and why people really don't buy. What are the real reasons? We'll look at example flows, supplements and for a book a call funnel. Then we'll do the same thing for a welcome series, including both like getting them to buy more, right? But also for consumption. For example, they buy a high ticket thing and you want them to consume. And for a digital course, I should say with right? So kind of like, this is like a really classic ecom supplement. And then we get down to examples. You'll see how to like do more cross sells too for a supplement flow or funnel. Okay. Promotional sequences like holiday promos and flash sales. So like 4th of July sale as an example, or a Thanksgiving Black Friday sale for supplements, for like a BizOps sort of like SaaS tool that's like a one-time purchase. Also like a 24-hour flash sale. You just get like examples, templates, psychology, everything. Same thing with reorder sequences and win back. So reorder sequences for people who, they bought a supplement, for example, and it's time to buy more of them, right? They're not on subscription. Also, then win backs for someone who bought a supplement and now they didn't buy more and getting them to buy more. And what do we say to get them to actually buy more? And by the way, I took these from my telemedicine platform and I'm just applied them to a supplement example, but they were for telemedicine to really any physical product, and you'll see that. And they also included them for a like SaaS subscription tool, right? So you had I think it's like a Airbnb arbitrage, like it helps you like find the right market or the right properties to buy. It's like a tool. It's a hypothetical example. But how to get them to resubscribe, right, to a SaaS tool. And then cloud project and setup for generating endless email sequences of any type of product or service. Okay, and then the bonuses, which might seem a little skimpy at first, but first of all, frankly, the core like RMBC is insane. Like I really feel like I've just, I feel like I solved copywriting entirely, and I don't know what someone else could really create about copyright after RMBC 2, to be honest with you. I feel like it's like done, nailed it, fixed it. But a couple cool things. There's a CRO kind of best practices training that Ethan from 48 Marketing did. 48 Marketing is an awesome CRO agency. We've used them for my telemedicine platform, used them for my skincare company. We connected them with like Josh and Snow Teeth Whitening. They've done stuff for Josh. They've done stuff for probably other people. I actually, not probably, very, 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 very extremely high profile people that I probably can't say because some of those people are real big on NDAs and keeping private. These guys are really smart though, right? There's a talk on ecom and Amazon from Eddie Malouf, and he actually is probably working on an additional bonus training. I'll talk about that in a second. Funnel economics, like an in-depth breakdown of funnel economics and thinking of it that way for me. High ticket webinars, the structure and copy and all the elements of Dylan Vanis. And I put N question mark, question mark, question mark. Because here's the thing, like those are the bonuses I'm launching with to get this on July 7th, but I will end up adding more bonuses for sure. If you look at the original RMBC 1, it launched with like 5 or 6 bonuses, and there was like 20 something bonuses within a few months of that, because as people asked for certain things, like, hey, what about this? What about that? Or people loved RMBC and were like, hey, I'd love to contribute a bonus, whatever it was. I'm like, hey, let's do it. And so I promise you, I already have several other things that I actually am in the works on for bonuses. but I promise you, more bonuses will come as well. Okay, so this was a pretty in-depth overview of everything, but I think it was worthwhile to give you the territory and the roadmap of what's happening. So again, like you're going to be able to, you're going to have incredible research, generate mechanisms as needed, right? Generate these incredible briefs, take them into an LLM and generate any type of copy you want. That's really at the broad level what it is, right? So, and whether that's long video sales letters, medium ones, 3 to 7 minute ones, really hook heavy ones, short ones, whether you want to do in-feed or on-page VSLs, whether you're doing product pages and landing pages if they're sort of short or they're like long kind of mini sales letters, whether you want to do short advertorials or long advertorials, whether you're doing meta ads, native ads, YouTube ad, video scripts, it doesn't matter, right? So I swear to God, I'm not a cook, my nose just itches. Upsells, emails, everything. And it'll keep getting better. So enjoy, dive in. The next module for you is going to be kind of the opening context setter. What is copy, understanding copy in 2025, a little bit more about the platform specific aspects of things and all of that. And then you'll get to research and you'll be on your way. All right. Thank you so much. And please feel free to give me feedback, share with me, talk to me as you go through all of this. And can't wait to hear from you. Thanks.